screen. Now I'm going to show you the settings. So first thing first, we're going to go to profile. And here we have the first item, personal meeting ID. What is a personal meeting ID? A personal meeting ID is it's a Zoom room, okay, or a session that is unique to your account. And you can share this number anytime with anyone, and they join always the same account. And it's unique to you. Only you can host that session. Okay? I'm gonna bring this PMI, this number, we're gonna talk about it a little bit later, and I'll tell you why it's useful, but it's not gonna be doing what we want it to do. And I'll explain to you why a little bit later. Okay? So the rest is very basic. What type of account you have. It's a basic account. But if you filled out that form, you should have, within 24 to 72 hours, removed the 40-minute limit on this account, which this account is like that right now. So that's good. And the rest is just time. So don't worry about it. Not useful. Then we go to the settings. There's a lot of settings. But what we've done here is I've gone through and I've checked off what I feel are the appropriate settings you should have in your account. So you'll be able to review this video and really follow the steps, and I'm going to explain every single one. If I skip them, it's because they're not important, and just ignore them, okay? So we're going to start off. First one, start meetings with host video on. Sure, why not? That makes sense. Participant, starts meeting with participant video on. Sure, why not? Good, no problem. Audio type. You can have people join in with a regular landline phone. If they have your ID, they can actually call in and join with a phone. Okay, I don't think that's actually useful for what we're doing. Most of our sessions are going to be live and talking, and this could just add confusion. So what I'm saying, by default, computer audio. So when you join, it'll say, hey, do you want to join computer audio? Yes. And then you're joined in like we're doing right now. The settings we're putting right now are going to be applied to every meeting you make, but you can go to individual meetings and modify the settings however you want. So if there's another meeting that you're doing where you're saying, oh, I want parents to join, and I'm not sure if they have a computer and I want them to be able to use the phone, you can go on that specific meeting and put that to computer and telephone. But I'd say 99% of the time, you're going to be fine with just computer audio for most people. Now, join before host. Join before host, I've turned it off because I don't want my students joining into my session before I'm there. If they do that, they can talk, they can say whatever they want, and then that's not really what I want. So first, if they try to log in and I'm not in, it'll say, oh, host is not there, you gotta wait. And then finally, when I'm there, it says, okay, you can join. So I usually turn this off and I don't let my hosts join before me from a point of view of, just being for students. Here, remember that personal meeting ID I spoke about in the profile? You can actually use that code when scheduling any meeting. Now, I've turned these off. The reason why I turned it off is because if you're hosting, let's say, grade 9 English, and you're also doing grade 10 English, well, if you're always using the same code, you could have grade 10s joining into your grade 9 or vice versa. So by doing these off, it's now going to go into generating a link for each and every one of your courses. So grade 10s will never get the code for grade 9s and vice versa, It's more secure, or at least it's more disconnected. So we turn these off, and we also turn off require a password. Why are we removing that? Because that's an extra measure of security that really will just add to complexity. People are going to have to know not only the login code, they'll need to also know the password. Let's make it easy. One click link like you just did, and you joined in. This is much easier. So it's actually off, everything off. Mute participants upon entry. You can have this on, but honestly, I usually leave it so that when people join, you can say, hi, what's up? Hey, how you doing? As they're joining. Once they're all in, it's a one button click to mute them all. So honestly, I don't see the point of muting people as they join in. Now, We can't do encryption, so don't worry about it. Do you want chat on or off? So chat on is there, and you can prevent participants from saving chat. Okay, that could be useful, but you can always save chats if you want. That's fine. Within your chat menu, I'll show you this later. There's actually settings where you can say no chat in the session. You can say I don't want chat anymore. Chatting only with host, which means all your participants, everything they say, only the host sees it, or chatting amongst everybody. Okay, so I have actually turned off private chat right here. I'm not even going to allow it by default because I don't want students talking to each other. You don't know what they could be saying. So here I'm also allowing file transfer. This is if you want someone to submit a photo or an image or whatever, you can do it. For certain students, that could be fine. For certain groups of students, that could be a lot of stupidities that get loaded into the chat. So you may want this on or off depending on what you want. Now, feedback, ignore, 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 ignore. Screen sharing. This is important. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm the option for screen sharing. So we want this on, and who can share? I can say all participants can share because I could actually say, hey, Timmy, show me your work. And he'll be, if I allow him, because I'm the host, he'll be able to share. But he won't be able to share unless I tell him it's okay. Okay? And as the host, I can, if someone's sharing, I can take control of the session anytime because I'm the host. You don't want all participants being able to start sharing whenever they want. That's fine. Annotation. There is an annotation feature when screen sharing. Very cool. I'm going to show you what it does right here very, very quickly. And then, I can do things like this. That's kind of cool. And I can say, stuff like that. This annotation feature, I'm going to show it to you live after in the main menu. You need to have this on if you want to be able to do that. And this is all, these drawings are all recorded when we do a recording. So it's useful for doing tutorials live and everything. The whiteboard. You can do a whiteboard, and basically you're sharing a white space where everyone can chime in and draw and work together. It's cool. I don't know how useful it could be, but for small groups, if you have 60 kids, whiteboard, not going to be very useful. Non-verbal remote control. This is mainly for us, the tech guys. We'll be able to remote control people. By default, I would say, you don't want anyone to be able to remote control your stuff. So you can just turn that off. The nonverbal feedback. So in the system, there is a way that you can raise your hand. And I'm going to show you that. But there's also a whole bunch of other little icons. I need a break. Yes, no, everything's okay, that kind of thing. You can have those on. I just think kids are going to just play with those icons and not pay attention. So let's turn those off for now, and you can see later if you want it on. Allow remove participants to rejoin. If you ever kick a student out of your thing, you can allow him to rejoin. But I'd be surprised you kick students out of your session. You can just mute them. It's much easier, and you can just ignore them. All right, in meeting advanced. Breakout rooms. You need this feature on for it to appear in the system. By default, it is not on, and this is one of the coolest features of the system. I'm going to explain to you how it works after. You can check off the allow host to assign participants before scheduling. Either way, it won't work because of the accounts we have. Closed captioning. Closed captioning, if I turn it on, is as I'm speaking in English, it will write at the bottom of the screen everything I say. So you can actually save the transcript of your presentation. It could be useful for certain of our students who have a hard time in English to follow along. Unfortunately, nothing in French. So that's not going to be useful for French. I am sorry for that. Sad. Virtual background. You can actually put a green screen behind you and put an image in your background if you wanted to do some cool stuff. It's an added feature. And I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, great. We passed through the settings. Awesome. If you're looking for recording settings, it doesn't really matter, but we always do local recording. That's on already. and all your files are saved under My Documents, Zoom, and the folders are dated and titled according to what it is. You get an MP audio version and a full video version of everything you record. Automatic. Okay. Meetings. How do we schedule meetings? There are two ways of scheduling meetings. You can go and schedule a meeting right here. That's okay. It's not the best way, in my opinion. The best way would be to do it through Google Calendar. So when I create an event, if I synchronized my Google Chrome, so let me just move my boxes around here. So if I'm logged in, you see my little face is logged into Chrome right here, right there. If you've logged into Chrome with your Someone email, you will get automatically installed the Zoom Scheduler add-on. I actually pushed it out to all staff, okay? That Zoom Scheduler add-on makes this magical little button appear within your Google Calendar automatically. So you will put a title of, let's say, test session, and it's going to be today at 4:30 or at, let's say, 5:30, 5:15. It actually does repeat. It repeats at this time, something like that. And that's fine. Now I've set up my meeting. I've set up my recurring meetings, and I can add my guests. So I could add all the parents, all the students of my group. I have the option of making it a hangout right here, like I did before. But now I can go and say, make it a Zoom meeting. It will go and generate a room and a link specific for this event. And it's going to be the same link for every recurring event of the same name. So if you have a class at 9 a.m. every Monday for the next 5 weeks, you can set it up and it's always going to be the same link. Very cool. When you put on guests, so if I put all your guests like Claudine or whatever, and I do save, the system will say, do you want to send invites to these people? I can say yes. So 1, you're going to get an email. 2, it's going to be added into your Google Calendar automatically on top of it. If you put in your parents, they're going to get an email. If they have a Google account, it's going to go into their thing. But if they don't have a Google account, they're still going to get the email with the link. Now, nothing is stopping you from grabbing this link. Wait, let me go back here, test session, boom, boom, boom. Grabbing this link here, copying it, and putting it in Seesaw, putting it in on campus, putting it anywhere you want, and it's going to work. The only thing is it's dedicated to this time slot. So a meeting that you start around this time, good. It doesn't have to stop at 6:15. It can keep going for hours. Okay? So that's just a demarker for that everyone knows at what time the session is. So if I go back to, if I click on the scheduler, I actually have a settings that will make every single one of my meetings are going to be done that way. So one-time meeting ID per event, required meeting password, whose video is on, do I allow both, do I enable join before host? Well, I should actually say no to that, right? We said that's what we were going to do, and I save. So now all the things I do with the Google Calendar Zoom scheduler are going to follow these settings. All right, I'm going to go back to Zoom. I can do the same thing here. Schedule a meeting and literally write down all the same information I have here. See, I still have the 40-minute here, so it still hasn't cleared. It's fine. Is it a recurring meeting is here. I can do all that stuff. The problem is that this is only going to be within the Zoom system. It won't appear in Google Calendar. It won't email to my guests. So not as useful, okay? So the other thing you can do is you can just say, I want to start a meeting right now. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to schedule. I just want to, I want to do a setting. So you go to host a meeting right here with video on, you click that, instantly you're in a room and you have a shareable link ready to go. And then I can call Julie and say, okay, I'm sending you the link, or the code is, I don't know what the code's going to be, but it's going to be like a 9-digit code and you can join in. So that's an easy way to do that. If you're trying to join, most of the time you'll have just the URL. But let's say someone says, oh, here's the meeting ID. You do join a meeting and you type in your meeting ID. That's it. Now, we're done with the menu of editing. Now we're going to go to the actual interface of the system. So again, you're seeing Lindsay on the screen. She's fixed because this is a screenshot of a session. At the bottom here, you will see the mute button. This is to mute yourself, and the stop video is to stop showing yourself. There's a little up arrow here. On certain computers, you will see that sometimes you'll see that there's like, you can see the image, but there's like a black bar. How come that's happening? Certain laptops, certain Lenovo laptops that we have two cameras in it. The first one is located where you would expect, right up here. The second one's actually at the bottom next to the keyboard. And it's because when you flip the screen, you get another camera to point forward. This is actually just a batch of new laptops from this year. But this is where you'll be able to switch between which camera you want to use. The invite button that's right next to it, this allows you to invite people. But if they have the link, that's technically your invite. This is really if you're in the middle of a session, you want to invite while you're in the session, you can click here and it will email the info that you've already sent. So I don't really see what's the point of inviting, but that's where you would get the info to join. The link, the URL, that's where you would get it. Manage participants. When you click that, you get a pop-up here, and you can individually mute the camera or individually mute the microphone of people, or hit mute all or unmute all. This is where you would really control that. You would also have a more button appear here that allows you to share access to a person. So if you want someone else to share their work, you're able to do that as well. You have full control. You're the host. Talking about share screen. When you click share screen, you get the option to share your desktop or that whiteboard. On an iPhone or on an iPad, you can share your iPad screen. So you can actually show off your iPad and you're scrolling through apps and you're showing people how to use apps and stuff. You can fully do that. There's no problems to doing that as well on an iPad. So just to show you the screen that we're talking about here, what those drawing apps look like. I just did a screenshot. Where is it? Sorry about this. Is this it? No. I'm looking for a screenshot I just did. Oh, here. Okay, so when you go into screen share mode, this is the toolbar you're going to find at the top of your screen. Your red stop sharing button is right there. You can click that and you come back to the normal session. But right up here, you can pause share. So basically your screen goes black and you can open up files, do whatever you want, and then you unpause and then it continues the sharing. And then the other thing is annotate. Annotate brings you this bar where you can add text, drawing, stamps, spotlight, change the color, undo, redo, save a screenshot. You can do a lot of this stuff. When you're done and you do stop sharing, you're back to your main screen. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to stop showing this photo and then go back to showing the previous screenshot. All right, we keep going. Chat. When I hit chat, it opens up a box like the participants, and at the bottom there's chat options. This is where you can decide no chat, chat only with host. Yeah, attends, on a une question. On peut-tu le faire à la fin, Claudine? Ah, on le voit pas? Attends. Je t'entends pas, là. Oui, Claudine.
On voit pas ce que tu fais parce que nos visages apparaissent dans cette partie-là.
Là, il apparaît-tu encore? OK, attends. Attends. OK, c'est good. OK, désolé. Donc, tu mute all, unmute all, tu es capable de faire, sorry, go back to English. So you have your more, you can allow share, it's all fine. So now we're back to, sorry, we're at that same thing. Chat is the same thing, sorry. We're at chat. You can do your no chat, host chat, which means the people speak, but only the host gets to see it. Everyone can speak. That's basically the three options for chat. Recording is what we're doing right now. I hit record, it recorded, and it's saved locally. Breakout rooms. Remember I told you in the meeting you have to turn on breakout rooms because that's a really cool feature, and if you didn't turn it on, that option wouldn't appear. Well, that's exactly right. It wouldn't appear. So now that I've turned it on, it's there. What is breakout room? Is if you have a group of, let's say, 40 kids. That's a lot of students, and you want to do teamwork in groups of 4. You can hit breakout room, and you can say, automatically split that group into 10 groups. And it'll say 4 participants per group, and you can say yes. It'll break them all, automatic. You don't know where anyone is. Then there's manual. It shows you a whole list, each group, who's in which group, and then you can say, replace this person with this person. Replace this person with this person. Replace this person with this person. Okay, go. It breaks them all apart. As the host, you can join any session you want and jump between. And at one point you say, no, you know what? It isn't working. I need everyone to come back, or we're done the activity. Cancel breakout room. Everyone comes back to the main screen. So it's a very cool feature, especially for high school. If you wanted to break into smaller groups, or you want to have one group of kids working together and you want to work with another group of kids that needs more attention or whatever, you can do that. So reactions, you may see this icon on your screen. Reactions is to show me a thumbs up that everything's okay, or do a clap or something like that. No, Audrey, no. Va te manger. Vas-y, va chercher. So if you don't see the reaction button, it is because you don't have the latest version of the app. You can go and download it on Zoom and update your client. You may have downloaded Zoom a year ago. Zoom will still work with an old client. They don't automatically update, but if you update, you'll see it. Then you won't see the more. That's on my screen only, so don't worry about it. And then there's end meeting. When you end meeting, you have the option to cancel. In other words, I didn't want to end the meeting. End, and I'm leaving, or end for all. If you end for all, everyone's kicked out. Done. If you do end, you leave, and you let everybody keep talking. So it's a choice. Let's say, I don't know, you have a whole group of parents that are there, and they want to say, oh, I still have to talk. I want to try to organize something, whatever. Do you mind if we stay on? You really have to go to another class. You can technically say, I'm leaving and I'm letting you guys talk if you wanted to. Or students that still need to work on a project, you can do that. Because students can't start a Zoom, just by joining. The other cool thing is gallery view. Right at the top here, you should see it, gallery view. If you click this, there's 2 views, standard view, gallery view. Standard view is what we're doing right now, which is basically seeing a few faces and the main person in the front. If you hit gallery view, you'll see up to 50 faces at once. So you can see all your students all at once. Now, some groups are 60 students, but I'm expecting that we're not going to get all 60 joining in on every call. That's why we have the record feature, so that we can share with other people after the conference. It could be that these people couldn't make it at that time, but they'll be able to watch it then. That pretty much sums up everything, I think, that I had to share. I'm going to stop sharing